Hey everybody, just wanted to make a quick video. When I built my kayak and turned it into a sailing kayak, there wasn't a whole lot of resources for me, so I got it all set up, just going over things before the season starts and I can get out on the lake. So just wanted to go over everything that I've done in case there's anybody who has any questions or is looking to do something like this themselves, because I had to do a lot of the research and R&D on my own. So we'll just kind of start at the bottom and go up. The kayak that I use is a Ocean Kayak Malibu 2. It's not by any specific choice, it's just what I had. So everything that design-wise is based off of utilizing that particular kayak. So what I started with was this kayak, and I hand built this aluminum frame. The frame is 1.25 inch aluminum tube, and if you come in you can see that I utilized the scupper holes in the kayak. So there's round pipes that go down through all 4 scupper holes. It's all welded in, so it just kind of nests in there. And the whole thing just straps down to the kayak with orange straps, both front and back. That way, if anything happens, I can just move the straps and it still remains completely modular. To support the mast, I took, this is, I believe, 3-inch diameter aluminum pipe and welded it to a plate. Underneath here there's just little J hooks, 5/16 18 thread J hooks that hook up to the underside. They don't do a whole lot of actual supporting, but they just keep the front end of the boat from moving around underneath the frame. The whole point of the design of this frame was to keep the forces of the mast from transferring too much into the kayak themselves, so a lot of it just gets transferred back and forth into the remainder of the frame. The other kayaks that I used, this is all just one solid piece. I got these from Sportsman's Warehouse. They were like $100. Again, the only real reason I got them is because their scupper holes also fit the purpose of the design. It aligns up perfect with the front corners and the rear corner here. Again, there's just aluminum pipe that I cut and welded. I did cut a little slit in it, which you can't see here, but you can see here. That way it compresses a little bit when I push it down into the kayak. And the whole thing is just supported by standard paracord. Again, I can just untie it. Nothing is permanent. Almost no tools required. And the whole thing just kind of loads into my car. So if we just keep moving around, this netting is homemade. It was hand stitched. This is just standard polypropylene webbing, the kind of stuff you get on your backpack straps. And then these are just bulk buy plastic clips, nothing fancy about them. They can just unclip and clip like that. So the webbing's good for a couple 100 pounds per square inch. I can throw bags in there or anything like that, anything that I wanted. As far as these guys here, this is what supports the rigging and basic controls. This stuff here is 1/2 inch thick King Starboard. If you're not familiar, King Starboard is a marine grade HDPE, so it's a lot more resistant to the sun and also salt water. But even though it is good, it's not necessarily that strong. So if you come under here, you can see that it's got aluminum C-channel cut and bolted to the bottom of it. That way it just gives it, I can push on it, I can step on it if I need to, and it's not going to flex too much. Securing these to the frame, I custom made U-bolts because I couldn't find square ones, so I just took bolts here with wing nuts, all stainless steel, because I do go out on the Puget Sound with this. That way it's toolless. Just wing nut it down and it's good to go. If we walk around the back here, you can see again the frame comes around, and at every corner in there you can see the aluminum pipe goes back down through the scupper hole, as well as the strap that keeps it supported. This guy right here, this is a Newport Vessel 46 pound thrust 12 volt system. I do have a 95 amp hour battery, powering that. It's good for all day. Never have to charge it. I can run this thing on low power probably for 12 hours and it wouldn't die. It also powers my fish finder and chart plotter there. This rear deck is what supports the rigging and the blocks for what would be the main sheet for the sail. This is all PVC tube. I forget the size, but it's just all PVC glued and painted. The blocks that I used are just tied in with the ropes with the paracord and cinched it down. They're pretty sturdy, they don't come out. And then it's just little buckles. Again, the same with this one as with the other guy. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but it's got more of that aluminum C-channel underneath. That way, if I need to, I can step on it and it minimizes the flex. This is my rudder system here. The rudder itself is aluminum. All the bracketry is stainless steel, all hand welded. I do have access to the welder, which makes it easy for me. I can just cut and shear and weld and do whatever I need to do. All the hardware is stainless steel as well. For the steering here, I didn't come up with this idea. I've seen a couple other guys use it on their Hobie Islands. Just a rope to use instead of a tiller system. So what I have is these controls come up off of the back plate here and tie to these little pulleys. And then this line goes all the way around where I sit. So anywhere I am, I can pull on the rope and it'll adjust the rudder. Doesn't matter if I'm in my seat, if I'm on one of the nets, I can always have access to the steering. If I need to lock it in to a certain course, I have this little jam cleat that I can just lock it in, and that way the rudder won't move. If I am out fishing, I put on this little Railblaza pad so I can use their little rod holder that way. If this looks familiar, and you're familiar with Railblaza at all, you notice this kind of looks like their motor mount support. I did reverse engineer it, looked at it for about 30 seconds, and I had the stuff laying around, so I just made my own. Again, coming out to the other side, just another Sportsman's Warehouse kids kayak, supported with paracord. The seat is a boat seat. I got it from West Marine. They have a local store. They had one sitting there, so all I did was come up with a PVC frame underneath, and that frame just rests in what would be the foot pegs. And then after that, I just have these little clips. They don't actually cinch it down, but they do keep it from completely falling out while I'm moving around. So they're pretty handy that way. Again, all the rigging is routed up through pulleys. All the hardware, all the stainless hardware I get from West Marine. The local store here is really great. This guy here, I kind of walked past it. This is a dagger board. I found last season when I was going out in the Puget Sound, wasn't being very efficient, so all I did, cut a little slit, and that just sits in there like that. Makes it a lot more efficient for sailing. You've seen this thing here. This is where I keep all my electronics. All this is just a little aluminum frame with a piece of 1/4 inch starboard on it. Right now all it supports is I've got a radio on there. This is Bluetooth radio. Exo Gear, I believe, makes this, and Bluetooth. It can make calls if I need to. It can recharge with the solar panel, so that's super handy. It also supports NOAA radio and my fish finder chart plotter. This mast here, I don't know what model specifically it's from. I found it on the Facebook Marketplace for a couple $100. I know it is from Adventure Island, but I don't know if it's the tandem or the single. But all I've done here is put a couple needle bearings in the mast tube. So the needle bearings, they're just rings, and it just sits in there and allows me to furl the sail basically. So that's pretty much it. If there was something somebody saw that they feel they can use for their build, if they have any questions, feel free to post them. I'll do my best to get back to you. I'm not super active on the on YouTube, but if I see a notification, I'll do my best to get the information for you. All right, have a good day.